welcome back to my channel. This week we have a reading vlog. We're reading 2 books by Lulu Moore, and we are reading Credence by Penelope Douglas. I went on a little Penelope Douglas kick. I read Birthday Girl a few weeks ago, and it was fine, but I was like, man, people keep raving about this lady. Let me keep reading her stuff. And so then I picked up Credence because I figured if something was going to take me on a ride, it was going to be that. So without further ado, let's get into the reading vlog. Hello, here with a reading update. I have started Jasper by Lulu Moore. I am maybe 20% into it, and I'm starting to find my footing. So this is a story about this guy. I think his name's Jasper Jacobs. He's a top defenseman in the NFL, not NFL, in the NHL. He's a hockey player. And he runs into this woman at his local coffee shop. And physically runs into her as she's walking out, he's walking in, and her iced coffee goes all over her dress. And he feels awful. He's like, "Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, let me help you." And she immediately is like, "Okay, thanks, but fuck off, I'm good." And he keeps following her to talk to her, and she's like, "Seriously, I'm good, please leave me alone." And that really gets under his skin because, number one, she clearly doesn't know who he is. And it doesn't bother him that she doesn't know who he is. It's the fact that, she doesn't know who he is, and she's, unabashedly herself, and, no one's ever really around him. No one's like that around him other than his teammates and other people who are familiar with, NHL players that, don't care because, they know someone who's in it or they're part of the coaching staff, whatever. And so he gets in his head, I need to find this girl again after talking to his teammates and his buddies. So I'm at the point now where he's found her again, and he's trying to wear her down to, get her to go on a date with him. And, the things he's doing to try to get this to happen would not fly in real life. Straight to jail, call the police. He tracks down where she works with his friends, and again, she doesn't know who any of them are. She's from England, by the way. So, they don't have NHL hockey over there, at least not in this scope. I know they have hockey over there because it's Europe, but, she knows nothing. But they track her down at work. It's him and his fellow 6'6", 6'7", giant hulking men buddies. She doesn't see the other guys, thankfully. She only sees him. But she's like, "What the fuck? What are you doing here?" And he asks her to lunch, and she's like, "No, I'm good." So his friend goes in, who's also a famous hockey player, goes in, talks to the security guard, and, bribes him with something, gets her name. So then later he, sends a gift and his number, and I'm like, if someone did that to me in real life, straight to jail. Straight to jail. But, it's a romance novel, so obviously it's meant to be cute and whatever. She does eventually find out who he is from, junior associates in her office that are like, "How do you know this guy? He's a literal superstar in the city." And she's just like, "Okay, cool, I don't care. Please take back your gifts," and just, kind of moves on. So yeah, interested to see where this goes. I really struggled initially with the writing, not because it's not bad or anything, but I didn't know that our main character, she goes by Wolfie. Her name is Victoria. I'm not really feeling the nickname. Maybe it'll grow on me. But because she's British, but you don't really know that until halfway through her first chapter, just from the word choices and the way she says things. And to go from that and immediately shift into Jasper's very all-American boy tone was a little jarring, but I'm starting to get the pacing and the feel of that, and it's getting easier to make that switch in your head. But yeah, cute so far, 96 pages in. We'll see. I saw a couple of reviews on Goodreads. I wasn't intentionally trying to. I was just trying to update my thing, and then of course it was in my face. But people were complaining about some of the word choices when describing hockey that were I guess too close to football or soccer. And I am a sports girly, so that's probably going to bother me. But I think it's nice that I already know ahead of time that the author's using, I won't want to say it's incorrect terminology because I haven't gotten there yet. Because there's plenty of terminology that you can overlap in sports, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to say, or something that he just wouldn't say because he's American and not English, or honestly even sometimes the difference between Canadian hockey terms and U.S. terms. So we'll see what happens there. I'm not too pressed about it right now. I'm liking the flow. there's some text banter going on, and I live for texting in books or email. Just epistolary ways of getting to know each other. I love that so much. There's just not enough of that anymore. So love getting to experience it. So I am actually watching the NWSL semifinals right now. So I'm going to watch a little bit more of that, finish my adult beverage, and then I will probably update you after work tomorrow with what I read some more of, because I'll read tonight before bed, but I'm probably not going to update you again. So I will see you in the next clip. Hi, remember how I said I was going to come home and update you with what I read after work? Well, I came home and I immediately finished Jasper. Didn't turn the camera on, no updates, nothing, because I was enthralled with this book, and I had such a good time. I gave it 3 stars though, which isn't obviously the highest rating, but there were some reasons for that. The biggest one being some of the language choices. So I think Lulu Moore is a British author. At the very least, she's definitely not from the United States, and she's from somewhere in the UK or Europe. I was trying to Google and find it, but she doesn't have any of that on her author website. And even at the end of the book, when, they always do the little page about the author, it wasn't on there either. But the reason I say that is because halfway through the book, Jasper suddenly started talking like a British dude. And it wasn't in a way where you could tell, you know how sometimes there's a character with an accent and the other one will almost not necessarily make fun of them, but kind of jab at them a little bit, and they'll say a phrase or something, or they'll answer them back in an accent to kind of poke fun. But that wasn't happening. He would start to slip into it in moments where he very clearly wasn't joking about things, or he was being really sincere. And so it was very clear that I was almost did you forget that this character is American or what? And it just kept happening. So that would take me out of the story a little bit. Honestly, and then sometimes even just word choices, during the Thanksgiving scenes, they kept saying the football, and not like I'm holding the football, but we're going to go watch the football, or the football is on. And again, not in a joking manner or anything, very seriously. And I'm that's not how we talk about football in the U.S. And so that was a little challenging, mostly just because it would pull me out in the moment. And I'm just what is happening? Why are we doing this? And there was not really even a reason for it, because she did such a great job of embodying who Jasper was. And I say that for him in particular because honestly, without him, the story doesn't go anywhere, because Wolfie was just afraid to open up and to commit to anything. Even not even a commitment, but just to open up about herself and to be friends and stuff. So if Jasper wasn't there to push her or include her in things, I don't know where this story would have gone. And so she did such a good job of making him feel like this big, open, welcome, golden retriever, cinnamon roll ass man. So it just didn't make a lot of sense when these moments would happen. And I'm why are we really honing on the fact that we're watching football on Thanksgiving? You could have just made mention that it was on in the background and moved on. I also didn't realize when I went into this that this would be a slow burn. And as I've gotten older, I have become such a fan of a well-done slow burn. And this was so good. I didn't even feel, I didn't have any of those moments where I'm oh my God, are they going to kiss yet? Because I didn't even think about it, because their relationship was developing so well. And there are all these other moments that were happening because Wolfie has such a difficult past with her relationships. Watching him tear down her walls piece by piece was really great to see. And watching her open up to him and be open to, whatever random ideas he had. There also was such a good balance of them spending one-on-one time together, and then side characters coming in, whether it was his teammates or her best friend / sister Freddie, who came into town at one point, and she would be on video calls with her throughout the book. And that was really great. So 3 stars. This is the first book in the series, and I feel I always rate the first book in the series lower than the rest of them. A lot of times because the author's finding their footing, they're not, sure how the story's going to go, or really have that world solidified in their head sometimes. And that I could definitely feel that at times with this, but the rest of it was done so well that I kept going. Obviously, I was voraciously reading. I couldn't stop. I was almost late coming back from my lunch break because I couldn't stop reading. So I think I am going to read Cooper, which is the next book in the series. And I think what will help with that is Cooper is French-Canadian. and his dad really seemed to impart the French part onto them. Like, there's a part in this book where, like, his sister is talking about how they had a patisserie and something else, and you can tell, like, speaking French is, like, a regular thing for them. And I think at one point Cooper does speak French in the book. And I think that'll help because his love interest is supposed to be Freddie, who is Wolfie's sister, who's also British. And he was, like, definitely smitten with her by the end of the book, so it was very clear, like, they were going to be the next couple. So I think I'm going to give that a shot and see where that goes, because I think what'll help with that is because he's French-Canadian and then she's British, she can lean into that French-Brit connection, and then it won't feel as jarring if, like, those random moments come up, and I think it'll feel a bit more realistic. So I'm going to get started on that, and then we'll hopefully have an update for you soon, and by soon I mean tomorrow, because it's like 9 p.m. on Monday night, and I'm ready to crawl into bed and read for a little bit. So. Hi, happy Tuesday. Quick update. I am off of work. Just picked up some takeout, about to eat dinner. I think tonight's gonna be one of those nights where I don't turn on the TV. The TV is definitely gonna be on because that's how I use YouTube most of the time. But I think I'm gonna turn on ambiance room, settle in for the evening, and just read until I get sleepy, which is probably gonna be in like 2 hours because I didn't sleep very much last night. Because I know I said Cooper was the next book I was going to read, but I picked up Credence by Penelope Douglas, and for those of you who read it, you know what the space is. You know what the space is. And you know what? I have read a lot of Why Choose Romance. I say a lot. At least 6, if not 10 Why Choose Romances before, but nothing like this. This girl is home on like Christmas break or something from school, and her parents decide to no longer be alive for reasons. Why they did it while she was home from school and not when she was going to go back the week later, who knows? You know, that's a concept. And then her long lost uncle reaches out, and I use air quotes because it was her dad's stepbrother and they didn't get along. She does not know this man. And anyway, she goes to stay with him and his 2 sons in rural Colorado outside of Telluride, and they're snowed in right now for like months. So shit is happening, obviously. I am so far into this book. I didn't sleep last night. When I tell you, I finished Jasper, and then I went and I laid down and I was like, I still kind of want to read. And I started Credence at like 9. I didn't put it down till almost 1 a.m. My alarm goes off at 5:30. What was I thinking? So yeah, did that. And then I woke up still at 5:45 in the morning, read till 6:30, and then had to get ready to go to work because I had to work at 7:30. It's definitely compulsively readable for me. I'm 78% of the way through right now. And we're getting to the point where like choices are having to be made because she was really only staying, number one, because she wasn't 18 yet. She turned 18 like a week into her being there. Which, like, say what you will about that, but whatever. And so she's kind of had it in her head of like, okay, well, once it's spring, storms are gone, like, I'm going back to LA. I'm gonna go live my life, gonna go to college, gonna whatever. But obviously we're gonna get to the like, but we love you, you should stay here, we're your only family you've ever had, whatever. One of the brothers doesn't speak, and I thought that would be more annoying only because it was lots of like telling instead of showing. Like others would speak for him or they would like dismiss his behavior. But we have gotten a chapter or two from his perspective, which has been kind of nice. Not anything super deep, but still nice to know that like she's the author's still treating him like a character, like a fully fledged out person, as she should. So yeah, I'm gonna finish this and then I'm gonna start Cooper like in earnest because I only read like the little prologue, which is like a page that she does at the beginning, and it's always like the most random thing that, like, it matters to the story, but not really. So I haven't really started it. You know that meme of that girl who says, being Delulu is the Salulu? The only sentence to describe this book. Like, you're not going in here, okay, for a masterpiece, okay? You're not going in here for a National Book Award winner. What you're going in here for is the drama. You're going in here for nonsense. You're going in here for a lot of dick. And you're gonna have a good fucking time if you go in here head empty, okay? Head empty. You're just Ken. You're just Ken. And you are Knuff. Hi, I just got home from work, and I say from work. I also went to Barnes & Noble, and while I was there, I renewed my membership and upgraded to the new premium one, which got me this lovely little tote bag, along with some other, like, perks that were kind of normal, but kind of not. Like, I think they changed their shipping policy, and so it's better now. The discounts are a little bit better, I believe. And now they have this, like, stamps situation, which you could have with or without the new membership. But I think you might earn more of them faster. But I know without them, if you spend, for every $10 you spend, you get a stamp. And then after 10 stamps, it's like a credit or discount of some sort. But anyway, there are indie bookstores in Dallas as a whole, but not so much on my suburb end of Dallas. So I don't get to go out to them as frequently, and Barnes & Nobles are plentiful over here. So that's where I tend to do a lot of my book shopping. That's better. Not much, but better. So while I was there, I picked up the holiday edition of Fourth Wing because I did a pre-order it, and then I just never got a delivery date, and it still says, like, order received, so I canceled that while I was standing in the store. I already had Iron Flame, and so I'm going to read those soon. They also had the new Legends and Lattes book on the buy one, get one half off table with Legends and Lattes, which has been on my TBR forever, so I got both of those. I'm excited to read those. I am hoping that when this cold front comes in this weekend, it puts me in the mood for actual fall books, cozy fantasies, whatever, because I've been exclusively reading romance, which is not a bad thing, but I know that, like, eventually I'm going to burn out, and I want to read something different. But right now, when I try to pick up something different, my brain says no. So I'm hopeful that when it gets cold and it's like 45 degrees this weekend, my brain will say yes. So I'm prepping some dinner. I say prepping dinner. I'm literally just cutting up broccoli at this moment and gonna wash it and put it in the pan because I actually have leftovers from last night, and I just don't have any veggies that were left over. So, new leftovers. Also, fun fact, this is going to be old news for y'all by the time this video comes out, but Spotify Premium finally released their audiobook credit situation for the US today. So if you're a premium member on a solo account, you get 15 credit hours every month, and that month isn't like the 1st or the 30th or 31st, it's based on, like, your renewal date. And if you're on a family plan, unfortunately only the plan holder gets the 15 hours, and so far that doesn't seem transferable in any way, but I'm hoping Spotify amends that, because so many people are on family plans, and the primary account holder may or may not be a reader. And 15 hours may not seem like a lot, but I was looking back through audiobooks I've read this year, and a lot of them were 15 hours or under, and I feel like that's the right length for roughly a 300 to 350 page book. I could be wrong, but that sounds about right. And if you go over that and you want to read more without paying for, like, the retail price of the audiobook, they have a top-up situation that's $12.99, which is a little bit steep for 10 hours of additional time. But if you factor in that they haven't raised, I mean, they raised the premium membership earlier this year, but even in the scope of that, you're paying for unlimited music, podcasts, whatever, for $11.99. If you're a solo person, I think is the price. To get audiobooks on top of that is kind of insane. I don't know how they're swinging that at all. So to do an additional 10 hours for $10.90 or for $12.99 is a lot. Like, I don't know that I've ever seen a regularly priced 25-hour audiobook for $12.99. I could be wrong, but I don't think I have. I usually see them in the 20s or 30s. Audiobook prices, like everything else, have been on the rise, so I think this is really great. Especially if for people who are like casual readers. This is obviously not for the Velocireader, right? Like, this is not for you and me who maybe read, 10, 15 books a month. But this is a really nice perk, I think, for somebody who decides they want to read some more. And Spotify has tried to be, and it is right now, an all-in-one kind of app for other audio things. Like, obviously, music primary, but then they added podcasts, and it's still inside of that app. And they've had audiobooks before, but they were just, like, things that are on public domain, like Jane Eyre and whatever. And maybe it wasn't the editions that were read by, like, your favorite celebrity, but the audiobook was there for you to partake in. But now they have, bestsellers, brand new releases, like Iron Flame is on there right now. The new Britney memoir is on there. And the Britney memoir is under 6 hours. So, like, you can get that as part of your monthly situation and enjoy that. So I think this is great. Hopefully it introduces some new readers and helps people explore audiobooks. The one thing I think is really cool about it, that I'm glad they did it this way, at least from what I can tell. I checked just a minute ago and it hadn't changed still, and I downloaded my first book like at least 6 hours ago. It seems to only count when you've actually listened to the files, not when you've offloaded the book. So right now I downloaded a book that's 11 and a half hours. And when I check my account page, it says I've listened to 0 of my 15 hours allotted in a month, which is awesome because I like to DNF books that I'm not enjoying. And I don't want to be penalized for choosing a book and then not enjoying it and then having to do with like a return process or something. This is super great. So I think that's a fun way to check it out. I think I might use it for that actually. Right now I'm using it for my book club's picks because they always pick either like brand new books or books that came out within the last like 3 months and are often popular and on, the Today Show's book club or whatever. So then when you go on Libby and try and get them, the holds for them, whether it's ebook or audio, are often at least 10 weeks, if not longer. And I find out what I'm supposed to be reading like 8 weeks before. So it's dicey sometimes of trying to get the book on time, especially if it's something where I'm not sure I'm going to enjoy it. So I don't necessarily want to buy it. So this is going to be really great for that. And that's what I'm planning to use it for now. But if that changes at any point, or let's say it's a book I already have and I just have free credits available, I might use this as like a try a chapter situation to see if I'm enjoying the audio, because I'm not super picky about narrators, but sometimes I am. Or sometimes I want to try something that's like out of my comfort zone, like maybe a gross horror. And I don't mean gross like as in like horror as a whole is gross, because I do enjoy some horror, but like I mean ones that have like body horror or something like that. If I'm trying to figure out like, can I even tolerate this content? I think would be really great. Or for like those short nonfictions that are sometimes like, you look on Libby and the audio is like 5 hours, 5.5, like the Britney memoir, but like you go to get the book and it's still $25 and you're like, this thing's like 200 pages. Like, why are you charging me, $25 for this? So I think it'd be really great for instances like that. So I'm interested to know, what book did you choose as your first Spotify audiobook? Let me know in the comments. I need to give you an update on Cooper by Lulu Moore. I'm obsessed. The energy of this book, phenomenal. Pacing, incredible. And the two of them, their chemistry, it's so good. It's just so good. I love when you can fall super easily into a book. I feel like the first one almost didn't end and we just shifted main characters, which has been really great. The gang is in London or somewhere in England. I think they're in London proper though. Getting ready for Wolfie and Jasper's wedding, which I believe Jasper is paying for, but Freddie has been doing most of the planning for it. And the first couple chapters open up to like the respective bachelor and bachelorette parties, mostly focused on the bachelorette. You don't really see the guys on their bachelor party. And Freddie going like, oh shit, like Cooper's coming here because they're going to spend the week leading up to the wedding. Everybody's going to be in England and then they're going to get married at the end of the week. And Freddie's like trying to get this like barn ready because Wolfie wants this like fairy princess wedding and she's trying to like get everything together. and she knows she's attracted to Cooper, and I think she knows he's attracted to her, but she's like not super sure at the beginning. But she's like stressed out by it, and he keeps calling her about the littlest things. Because in the first book, we find out that like it is his dream to be an Architecture Digest, and to find the right designer to work with because he's bought a home and he's like going through that process. And she says she can help him in the first book, but like he's calling her about dumb shit in the beginning. He's like, yeah, I'm hosting whatever, and so-and-so wanted like those curly key straws. Where do you get those? And she's like, you have an assistant that can help you figure that out. You don't need my opinion. He's like, but you're the best. You can help me figure it out. And like he's very clearly flirting, but she's very annoyed. And then when they get to be in the same place, like the chemistry off the charts. I really appreciate that Lulu Moore didn't hesitate to like throw them together like right from the start when they see each other. She picks them all up from the airport to like greet them or whatever, and Cooper gets in the car with her, and they stop off because he's gonna help her with all the errands because he's the best man. She's the maid of honor, and at one of the stops, she runs into an ex, and attempting to like not see him, I guess, or for him not to see her, she like jumps Cooper and like starts making out with him, and it's like a super hot thing. But the guy does see her, like confronts him or whatever, and she like breaks his heart right in front of her, and it was a little sad, honestly, and kind of savage. When she could have just told him like, hey, like it was nice going a few dates with you, but like this isn't working out. And Cooper's pissed, like so angry. But I really appreciate that like that drama didn't last very long, like maybe in another chapter. And after that, like they've just been just so connected, even when they're not hooking up like every other page. Like it's just in the way that like he calls her out on her shit, or like she's talking about him to her brother, and her brother's like, yeah girl, he's got it bad for you. Like it's very obvious, like what do you mean, why are you questioning any of this? But I think she thinks she has to like rile him up for him to care, and that's not the case at all. So I'm interested to see where this is going, because they've already like not seriously admitted their feelings, but definitely admitted their attraction to each other. Like they've already slept together at this point, and just kidding, I'm 44% in. I didn't realize I was that far in. Oh my god, it's going by so fast. But like the wedding hasn't happened yet, so that's got to happen soon. So I think the main conflict is going to be I live in New York, because he plays for the Rangers just like Jasper does, and then she's in London. But she's already talked multiple times, because people were like, oh, how are you going to feel about Wolfie's like officially like moving to New York and like not never coming back, but like she's not coming back for a while because her husband still has a few seasons to play. And she's like, oh, I'm sad, but like we were on video chats and stuff when she was over there before, so like, it'll be fine. But you can tell like she's really like, she's trying not to be super upset about it, because she is truly happy for her sister and her best friend, but she's just, it's bittersweet, and it's a big life change. And especially since she told Cooper she would help with his house, I have a feeling, my prediction is that at the very least, she's going to go out there to visit Wolfie and Jasper like post-honeymoon, but also help Cooper with his house. And then maybe through that process, they'll realize like, oh, what we feel for each other is like real. It's not just, that the momentary fireworks, and go from there. So this is the last clip you're going to get from me this evening, I think, because I need to run my dishwasher and my washer, and that's just very loud in an apartment. So I will catch you up with what I have read tomorrow. Very likely will be me wrapping up this book, because I couldn't put it down earlier, and I doubt I'm going to be able to tonight. So I'll see you tomorrow. Nothing makes me feel like a badder bitch than putting on a relaxed blazer over a t-shirt. It's phenomenal. So I'm here to close out the vlog. I thought I was going to add another book, but I think I'm going to leave it here. It wrapped up perfectly. I finished Cooper last night, and I loved it. 4 out of 5 stars. Was a phenomenal time. The reason I gave it 4 instead of 5 was because of the third act conflict. It was very much like, if you would have just opened your mouth. If you would have just been a big boy and used your words. If you would have used your words, friend, we wouldn't have been here. Very much one of those moments. And it's very annoying for me, because I think the reason I was so annoyed with it is because he expressed his fears to his bros. He expressed his concerns to his bros. Told them what was going on. their secret relationship was not a secret to anybody at all. And he said, like, and I'm talking like, not like, oh, I don't know. No. Big fears that you would say to like your therapist says to his bros. Why aren't you telling the girl that you love your fears? Why? Why? And when she rightfully confronts you and is angry at your like nonchalant response, he literally, this man got on a plane and went back to America literally after that argument. Didn't sleep it off. Didn't show back up at her door the next morning. Just flew away. Left. Just left. Yeah. So, anyway, his grovel tour was great. Appreciated that. But I just really struggled with that part because it felt like we were backtracking on all of the emotional maturity that was shown through the first 75% of the book. And it was very frustrating for me. But all that being said, I did really enjoy it. I read through it super fast. I turned off my TV last night at like 7:30, 8 o'clock, got in bed, and finished that book. It was so good. Also, 10 out of 10 recommend doing that. That was incredible. I've been trying to beat daylight savings of like the general hangover you kind of get with that. And, you know, the seasonal depression, she's going to come. I know it. I can't control it. It's going to come. It's going to come for me because it always does. But if I can prolong it just a little bit from showing up, I'm going to. And so far, this has been the move. By the time I get home from work and I take my dog outside and I come back, feed her, and I have dinner, the sun is starting to set. When the sun sets, I've been closing my blinds instead of leaving them open, or my curtains, and have been trying to either turn off the TV or if the TV is on, have it be on like a YouTube ambiance room and doing something not, well, I wouldn't say not screen related because I read on my Kindle, but that's different than looking at like my phone or an iPad or something. And it's just been super helpful because I'm sleepy by like 9:15, and I may not actually go to bed that early, but I will physically get in bed and just read the rest of the night, and it's just been so peaceful. It's been so peaceful, and I just can't recommend it enough. If you're a person who struggles with this season, lean into it. That's my advice, at least right now, is just to lean into it. It will get harder. I'm sure my methods of dealing will change as the season goes on, but you know, it's working right now, and that's really all I can ask for. So, with that being said, thank you so much for hanging out with me through this video. Really appreciate y'all being here. If you will like, subscribe, and do all those fun YouTube things, I would love to see your comments down below. If you've read these books, or if you have any other recommendations based off of them, or anything like that. So, with that being said, I'll see you in my next video.